So Mary, you gave some really impressive statistics, and at the introduction to the first session, I had a whole list of statistics on how programs work. I mean, these things work. It's beautiful, but let's talk internally about measurement. And Emily, I'm going to ask this one of you. But so measuring the success of a loyalty program can be challenging. I've often met with CFOs who said loyalty programs, my best customers come no matter what, so I don't believe the results. So this discerning between purchases or behaviors that possibly would have happened anyways, and are those events truly driven as a result of a loyalty initiative? So this has stumped marketers, it's stumped CFOs. Proving the value of loyalty is essential to securing budget. So this part of this audience is folks thinking about launching a program. Emily, can you talk to us about the importance of measuring loyalty performance?
Sure. So one thing that I think needs to be double underlined is that launching a loyalty program is not an easy button. Loyalty programs are complicated at times in terms of, building out that ROI model. There's a lot of cost that goes into it. It's not, a quick fix for things. And so it's really important that you not only have a strong business case, but you have a strong measurement plan in place, because you're going to be, when you look at the ROI model and what you're spending on loyal customers in terms of promotions and rewards, you have, maybe multiple partners that are helping you with strategy and execution and the technology, the price tag is not laughable. And so, you even said, Jim, the value of these programs can be really significant. Like the American Airlines example, I know Chipotle's program has driven a ton of business for them, not just within loyal customers, but even in terms of customer acquisition and getting them into that sort of digital experience. And so you want to have a measurement, you want to have a great business case to start, to understand the costs and the outputs and the projected, but you also need to understand, the behavioral impact. So you'll probably have a couple sets of metrics when you're looking at loyalty success. You'll have programmatic, operations metrics. Is the program itself growing? Is it healthy? Are customers engaged? Are they active? What does that, earn burn ratio look like? What does churn look like in the program? That's very operational of, is the program itself healthy? But then you want to understand what's the program's impact, and ideally what's the program's incremental impact on customer behavior in the business. And so that's where you're going to have, consumer behavioral metrics in terms of, you want to look at the impact on sales and maybe average order value, and especially in retail, frequency, of RFM. So whatever those meaningful behavioral metrics are for your business, you want to have a sense of that. In terms of incrementality, some organizations will do pre and post. So if you're launching a new program, you don't have one now, you have a great opportunity to measure incrementality if you have a baseline. You can kind of look at what behavior is today. When you launch the program, you can see what it is as members enroll and participate in the program. In terms of, for companies that already have a program in place, you might do some test and control groups or some holdout groups just to kind of look at a proxy, either from member, non-member, or member. And then, outside of behavior, you also want to understand the emotional impact of the program. Mary just talked about how important the emotional side of loyalty is. And so, there are some proxies that you can use, like sentiment or, satisfaction. Some companies look at NPS as an emotional metric. Certainly, you may already have some metrics in place that you can use as proxies. But we're also looking at, the advancement of technologies that aren't just measuring the customer's perception of their feelings, which is a lot of these metrics like sentiment or satisfaction, where you're doing survey-based metrics, you're asking customers to tell you how they feel. But there are some emotion measurement technologies that are looking at actually measuring the emotion before the customer has a chance to process it using like eye tracking or neural measurement techniques. It's not necessarily scalable, but certainly there are some emerging techniques out there to look at emotion.
Right, and there are also, even for your call center, there are now voice sentiment analysis and facial analysis to understand emotion. Certainly we're getting a little more closer to the customer there, but there are ways to do it beyond just surveys.
Smiley faces, right? It's
Yes.
my program make me smile. it's fascinating, and measurement is so important. We've even discovered recently that well-designed programs really drive redemption. In the past, you've had people feel that, boy, breakage is good, and if people don't redeem, they're saving money. Well, actually, quite the opposite is true. And redemption is so important to these programs, because that means you inspired someone, you motivated them to buy more, spend more, engage more. They've earned a reward, and you want them to redeem it. Because if it's done right, it's going to bring them back for the next purchase or the next visit or the next engagement.